Dani Carvajal's words landed like thunder across the headlines. A Real Madrid veteran, someone accustomed to measured public commentary, admitting that an 18-year-old from Barcelona could mark an era is not casual praise, it's a seismic label. That single line reframes the upcoming international break. It turns routine qualifiers against Turkey and Bulgaria into an immediate litmus test for a player who has moved from promise to unavoidable conversation. Lamine Yamal did not arrive at this moment by accident. He carried momentum from club flashes into a season-opening pace that keeps defenders guessing and forces managers to adapt their defensive maps. What feels different now is the company his name sits in. Not just promising teenager columns, but awards, whispers and tactical debates about how to stop him without tearing apart a defensive shape. When a player from your main domestic rival names you in the same breath as legacy and potential, it changes the tone of every match he plays. Carvajal's credibility is key. He's won titles, faced the game's best, and his assessment carries the weight of years on the biggest stages. Hearing him suggest Yamal could be an era-defining figure does two things at once. It flatters the Barcelona kid, and it forces every opponent to take a new inventory of what a single winger can do in 2025 football. The Ballon d'Or line is the part that makes people stop and tilt their heads. At 18, the concept of true Ballon contention is futuristic. It's a shortcut from sensational season to the highest individual honour. Yet the argument isn't magic, it's measurable. Blistering acceleration to split lines, a composure in tight spaces that produces chances for teammates rather than selfish runs, and a reading of the game that lets him drift into pockets and explode past two men when least expected. Those traits multiply his influence across a 90-minute match, not just in highlight reels. For Spain, the math is immediate and tactical. National managers face a classic puzzle. Start the young wonderkind and hope his creativity unlocks the opposition, or shelter him with minutes and protect him from being exposed physically and strategically. Carvajal himself represents the weight of experience on that choice. If he and Yamal share a backline and forward line on the same night, the narrative will be impossible to ignore. Will the veteran fullback set the platform for the teenager on the international stage, or will the clash of styles create a chess match where both must adapt? That tension fuels everything about these qualifiers. At club level, Barcelona's use of Yamal has already nudged opponents to rethink their wide defensive work. Teams begin to double up earlier, funnel play inside, or risk the isolation that allows the winger to turn and run at defenders. Those adaptations will ripple into Euro competitions and domestic matches, and they will impact transfer rooms, where scouts and directors track not only goals and assists, but the strategic shifts opponents make just to contain a single teenager. If Yamal's excellence forces opponents to change systems, that is the kind of influence scouts and executives call a systemic effect, and that's when market values spike and long-term plans recalibrate. But the biggest test arrives in minutes on the scoreboard. Does he deliver under national pressure? Brilliance in training and club fixtures is necessary, but international football brings a different set of forces: historic expectation, physicality, and media appetite. The next matches are not merely games, they are experiments in durability. If Yamal moves through them with his signature mix of speed, awareness and humility, the Carvajal line will look prophetic. If he stumbles, the narrative will reset, but the interest will remain. Prodigies rarely vanish overnight. For fans, analysts and club officials, this is now a moment of collective observation. Watch touches that lead to goals. Note how opponents scheme against him. Compare his decisions in the 60th minute to his choices in the 85th. That pattern will tell the deeper story, whether this is a brilliant burst or the first chapter of something larger. In any case, the conversation has shifted. A veteran voice placed the possibility of an era at his feet, and that is both a burden and an invitation. Tonight and in the fixtures ahead, every sprint, every cut inside, and every measured pass will carry more than points. They will carry a question about football's next shape, and whether Lamine Yamal will be the name that helps write it.